Web designer or web developer. In this video, I'm going to be comparing these two roles. What does the day-to-day look like and what sort of tools do you use? Which one is right for you, or can you be both? Let's jump in.
To kick things off, a web designer really is concerned with more of the visual aspects of the website. Now, this is going to be looking at things like matching the design to the branding. What are the visual elements that the client is looking to achieve? So things like certain types of interactions, if there's going to be quizzes on the website, how clients are going to travel through the website, what's the predicted journey that you're wanting to take them on. That is really the role of the designer. There are a ton of additional roles that the web designer itself can be extrapolated into. So in general, a designer basically looks at any of the visual aspects. However, there are other things like UI, UX design, or general visual design, which is more concerned with the actual branding aspects of the website. So as well as that, there are different roles and responsibilities depending on how many hats that you're required to wear as a web designer. And these things can include things like wireframes, mock-ups, landing page designs, web page designs, responsive designs for mobile designs, UI UX design, as I mentioned, UX auditing, so understanding the user experience flow and seeing how it reflects based on design standards and principles. And then if you're looking to cross-pollinate, say, into a marketing side of design, then you're looking at something like CRO, which is conversion rate optimization, which is all about increasing the conversions, generally sales on a website. The best way to really distinguish designer and developer in this case is that the designer is all about the visual side of things and not relating to the actual implementation of what's being produced visually. So it's very important to actually have a clear understanding and explain this sort of thing to clients so that when they come to you looking for projects, it's clear to them what the difference is and what they're actually signing up for. Someone may post a job online saying that they're looking for a web designer, and in fact, it regards to a whole extra thing in terms of API integration, custom web development, building out something that requires a larger team and actual technical abilities for doing web development work. It can be a little bit frustrating trying to educate clients like this, but a lot of times those terms are used interchangeably by people that aren't necessarily technically skilled and don't understand what's required. So on the opposite side to website design, web development is all about the implementation. So generally they'll be working with a designer, whether it's a UI UX designer or a visual designer. One is front-end developer, which is all about building out front-end websites. So that can be using things like WordPress as a tool. Generally it's going to be based around a HTML, CSS and JavaScript. There are front-end libraries like React or Vue.js, which are very popular these days, and it's considered modern JavaScript. You've got back-end developers, which are concerned more with server-side programming, so using languages such as Ruby on Rails or PHP. And then you've also got sysadmins, which are less concerned about the actual development of code and more about the networking side of things. So scaling, security, continuous integration and deployment of code, that's their role. And then you've got, to wrap it all up, full stack dev, who basically wears all of the hats of what I've just mentioned. Now, can a web designer and developer be the same person? I've found, yes, they can be, but they're very rare to have a great designer and a great developer. Generally, someone has spent a lot more time in one of the other fields, and there's a clear level of expertise in one department, and then perhaps they're looking to develop their skills a little bit better in the other side of things. From our experience, the team that we've built, and from my personal experience, I find that it's much easier to find, a developer that is a standalone back-end dev than it is to find a back-end dev that also knows how to design. Because in a lot of cases, the types of work that they've done throughout their career doesn't necessarily concern a lot of front-end visual design. Then you're less concerned with how things look visually on the front end just due to the nature of what you've worked on. throughout your career, really, you've worked mainly on integrating systems together, working with APIs, which is less about the front end and obviously more about the back end. So, however, there's going to be cases where there are designers that are also great on front end dev. Generally, that's a good mix because there'll be a designer that's decided they want to increase their skill set and start to work on either HTML and CSS or working with page builders so that they can implement the designs that they've built. Those are great finds. I love working with those people, and it's a real pleasure because you don't have to explain really how things are supposed to be looking because that's their job, and they're also able to implement those roles as well. So which role should you pick? Well, they're quite different, as you can see. One side is compared with something that's very technical and is really building out, implementing something where it may be something that's quite tricky, a lot of functionality and logic required to have something functioning. Whereas on the other hand, if you're more of a creative sort of person, then you may want to look for more of a web design role where that's going to allow you to express the different ideas that you want to have. If your sort of passion revolves in turning ideas into designs and you like to see how they've turned out, then that's definitely the sort of path. The tools that you'd really be working with as well are a lot more creative. So things like the Adobe Creative Cloud Suite, that's going to be generally the sort of thing that you're working with every day. Tools like Adobe XD, Sketch or Figma, those are all used for UI, UX design and are really going to be a key for you using and developing your web design career. On the other hand, if you'd like to be focused on technical side of things, getting nitty gritty, if you've learned how to code before, then obviously you've got a head start. To some people, it can be quite daunting to try to learn how to code. Personally, I went down the web developer role. I've tried learning a little bit about design, but personally, I don't have completely invested in design. I much prefer having a technical understanding of things, hiring amazing designers, and then now overseeing a team where we're allowed to build out new products and combine both the creative side with the technical side. So as you can see, it's not necessarily an easy answer for deciding which one is right for you. A lot of it comes down to your personality and what sort of work you want to do on a day-to-day basis. So let me know below what sort of role that you're thinking of going after. If you've already tried out web design or development, would love to hear and read the comments below. Also, if you got something out of the video, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. It's really going to help my channel grow. Also, make sure you check out jameslittle.co. That's where I release my latest videos and you can find out the latest in terms of growing your web design business, growing your agency and your freelance business. So thanks for watching and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.